We continue our post-debate analysis this morning. We heard what the candidates said, but what about if they really meant it? Carmine Gallo is a language expert. He's here this morning to take a look, tell us if the words and body language really lined up last night with the debate between Meg Whitman and Jerry Brown. Good morning, and thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
They start out, you know, civilly with a handshake, which is common.
Sure.
Lots of facial expressions as well. Meg Whitman, in fact, you know, smiling, nodding.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
Certainly best to date for Meg Whitman. Before coming into this debate, people were saying she's very stiff, staying on message. I thought she was pretty loose, and the word that came to mind, polished. She is a media trainer's dream. When we prepare people for very difficult media interviews, a lot of what she did is what I would coach as a media trainer. But Jerry Brown has a lot of passion. And that shows in his body language and in his hand gestures. You can't fake that. So if you're a liberal Californian, you're going to love his message because he is speaking to you. But it was very interesting, some of the facial features that we saw from Meg Whitman. It's very telling, I think. You know, and at one point we were talking about the issues at hand as well. At one point in the debate, Jerry Brown was confronted about a disparaging remark that he made about Meg Whitman. And take a listen.
I think every Californian, and especially women, know exactly what's going on here, and that is a deeply offensive term to women.
Could I just interject? Have you chastised your chairman, Pete Wilson, who called the Congress whores to the public sector unions?
You know better than that, Jerry. That's a completely different thing. The fact that you are defending your campaign.
She's adamant. You hear her voice there as well, and then you see the reaction, the body movement that she makes. I
think she may have scored some points there, you know, with women especially, because this was something that I think Jerry Brown should have been more prepared for. When you have to apologize like that, he knew the question was going to come up, and he should have either walked over to her or looked her in the eye and said, you know, I sincerely apologize for that horrible statement, should never have happened, and I have dealt with that. Instead, he sort of dismissed it a little bit by going into this whole thing about, well, the conversation shouldn't have been recorded, and I was like, no, Jerry!
Right, and then it got a little tit for tat there, too. Well, you didn't do this. You know, sometimes I guess your best answer is to answer
and move on,
and that's it.
Especially with something that sensitive. But Meg Whitman was clearly irritated. She is irritated at this guy because she's smiling a lot. When he
so you don't think it was a nervous smile?
I don't think she was nervous. No, I think she was polished and in command. But I think she was very irritated. And when he would shoot a zinger at her, she would turn to the audience and smile and do one of these. Better to get that expression caught on camera than you know, that seething look.
Because
so
people can look at
now she knows. Okay, I don't like what this guy is saying, and I'm just going to smile through it.
Exactly, exactly. And it's interesting because, you know, people can take a look at themselves, you know, in the workplace or whatnot and see how maybe they react and kind of wear your heart on your sleeve, so to speak. Thanks so much for joining us. Always good to have you. Brent?